Juju tapping in with y'all on this beautiful Friday afternoon, getting ready for the evening, getting ready for the Shabbat. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. Look, I know who need to hear this, but stop trying to be friends with your children. Stop trying to be friends with your children. We living in some perilous times right now. And your children already got friends at school. Your children got friends that's their age, that's peers. Okay, peers of them, they own age group that deal with issues that they age group deals with daily. And it's not your job as a parent to be their friend first. Okay? It's your job to guide them. It's your job to raise them up and correct them when they are doing things that they shouldn't be doing and to congratulate them when they are doing the things that they are supposed to be doing. They friends, they peers, they not gonna congratulate them. And they friends and peers that's they age is not gonna correct them when they need correcting. They friends and peers is gonna sit back on the side and watch them either rise to the top or fall and crumble like a stale cookie. Do y'all hear me? It's not your job to sit up there and try to be their friend. We living in a time right now where that whole friendship thing is getting people killed every day. That friendship thing is getting people knocked down every day. Them fake friends running around here. So you want your children to have to deal with fake friends that they consider to be their peers and that's their age group, right? And then you turning around here and want to be their friend too, but you're not willing to correct them. You're not willing to stand on the principles and moral base that you was raised in and raised on, so that when you see things that don't go according to plan, going according to what you would expect for your child in the long haul for that child's growth, you're not gonna stand in there and correct them because you want to be their friend. Now all of a sudden you scared to lose a friend. You scared to lose your child. You scared to push your child, that you're gonna push your child away. Listen, y'all, it's a lot going on in the land right now, and it's a horrible, horrible situation when any parent has to lose a child. It's always been a saying, you want your children to bury you. You don't want to have to bury your children, right? And unfortunately, we seeing more and more parents burying children today than probably any time before. Any time in history, before any time in history, this is probably the day where we're seeing more young life not reaching maturity. We're seeing more young life not reaching that ripe old age. We're seeing more young life not being able to move into parenthood themselves, and maybe rightfully so. Because if these children was to be grown into adults, these lawless thinking children was to grow into adults, it ain't no telling what kind of damage they would inflict in their fully developed bodies, not having fully developed minds. Okay? You got to remember, you didn't, your children didn't have you. Your children didn't give birth to you. You gave birth to those children. And it was your responsibility when you laid down on that bed with that man, or brother, when you laid down on that bed with that woman, and y'all got to getting together, you were supposed to sit up there and you were supposed to uh, formulate a plan. You were supposed to formulate a plan for these children that you was eventually going to bring in. With all these abortion rights and all of this going on and this and that, and people trying to create laws right now that stop people from procreating, that stop people from bringing life into the world. You got a lot of propaganda that's going on in the land right now that's suggesting that people stop having babies. A lot of propaganda trying to scare the generation of the 2000 generation, trying to totally propagandize them into not bringing forth life when it's their turn to. And they're seeing a lot of the messed up energy. They're feeling it, right? And a lot of these youngsters, this young life generation, is truly looking for individuals who will be able to guide and lead them. But our generations, our elder generations, are dropping the ball. Okay? They're dropping the ball. And I don't know if I've ever seen as much energy as I'm seeing today in regards to the frivolous act of sexual relations amongst so called adults. And I say frivolous because at the end of the act, we should be aware that we are the most fruitful people on the face of this earth. We should understand that our sperm works very well and our eggs work very well. And when our sperm and our eggs get together, this simple biology, especially in regards to us so called black people, we produce at a high rate. And now all of a sudden, we have individuals who are believing the propaganda, who are saying, I don't want to bring a child in. I don't want to be a parent, but still lying down in the bed and having the sexual relations. You know, my wife said something to me the other day, and I said, you know what, I like that. She said, if a person have a right to lay down in the bed and a right to have sex, then that baby that's produced have a right to live. That sperm and that egg, when it meet up, it have a right to live. And I said, oh, that was so profound. I like that. I like that. Yes, I do. I like that. If two people have the right to lay down in that bed and engage in the act of sex, then whatever child is produced from that union has a right to live their life, has a right to be born, and has a right to actually live and be cultivated as somebody who can be a quality individual in this place. Okay? And that's what I'm seeing right now is a lot of disenfranchisement when it comes to the raising of our children. Stop trying to be friends with them. They didn't have you, you had them. Okay? So I don't know who this message is for. All I know is it was placed on my heart and it had to be said. Partly because of what I'm seeing in my city. In my city right now, there's so much crime going on. It's so much young life you losing their life. It's so much trouble. It's so much life being lost through alcoholism, overdosing on drugs, not thinking clearly when it comes to certain consequences, acting before they think. All sorts of things is happening right now. A brother's love is waxing cold toward his sister, toward his mama, toward his daddy. And daddy's love is waxing cold towards his sons and daughters. A mama's love is waxing cold towards her sons and her daughters. The whole family unit, it seems to be in shambles right now. Now, this ain't no coincidence because I don't even do coincidences. It's all happening for a reason. But the idea is, what is the reason? What's really going on right now? Well, hey, if you ain't been tuning in and tapping into this channel, then you might be a little tardy to the party. But if you have been and you've been listening to other channels like this one, then you know that we are in the time of the great ending of this civilization. You'll know that we are in the time right now where all things are getting broken down, okay? All things are getting identified and marked in regards to, is this thing going to stand the test of time and make it into the new kingdom, into the new system? Or is it something that's worthy of the trash can, worthy of the fiery furnace? Okay? What you want to do as a parent is make sure that you raising your children. Make sure that you are guiding them. Make sure that you are straightening them when they see or when they begin to do those things that aren't so wholesome. When they begin to do those things that aren't so forthcoming of the reason why they was created in the first place. And that goes back to my other point. Parents, potential parents, young adults who are just looking to the frivolous act of sex. Y'all have to remember basic biology 101. You have to remember that when you lay down with a woman, fellas, the chances of you having and producing a child from that union are very great. So if you're going to lay down with the woman, at least make sure you like her. At least make sure that she's somebody who you think about to where you can love her. If you do produce this child, because it's not the child's fault, you have to remember, because that child didn't have you in this incarnation and you had that child, you have to solidify your relationship with the Most High. You have to remember that you were called and chosen to bring this energy into the world. You, as the parent, were called and chosen to be the guide and caretaker of this divine energy that has been housed within one of the avatars that you and your woman was guided to connect on and to create. We don't even remember what we are here for. The Bible tell us straight up, the word tell us straight up, be fruitful and multiply. Okay? Be fruitful and multiply. That's a great thing. A man with his quiver full of arrows should be very happy. Okay? Be happy to have these children. We up here believing propaganda right now that we don't even want the babies that we producing. So if I don't want the babies that I'm producing, but I'm up here having sex to make babies, then that's a problem. My children shouldn't be suffering because of that. Do I want to have that scourge on my conscience? Do I want to be held accountable when I got little babies running around here that ain't acting doing what they supposed to do? And that's a reflection on me and they look just like me? You got to be crazy. You got to be crazy. And they run around here looking like me. And I got the nerve to not want to raise them and not do right by them? Oh, how am I supposed to be blessed? How do you think I'm supposed to be blessed? What am I supposed to do out here when I got children running around here that's not not being attended to? Huh? Now, of course, I'm using myself as an example because that's where it must start. Now, I don't have children running around here acting a fool. But if I did, I probably couldn't even make this message and not be called no hypocrite. You see what I'm saying? I'm using myself because I had to make the decisions within myself to do exactly what I'm telling you. I was a fairly young father myself. I wasn't a teenage father, but I was a young father, early 20s. Okay. And when everybody was going to run around in the clubs, cutting up, I had to make a decision within myself on what I was going to be, what kind of man I wanted to be. And I knew that any child that I brought into this world should not have to suffer because of some decisions that I made. But I also knew that I wasn't going to be scared of my children as they grew and matured. I also knew I wasn't going to sit up here and let my children be fodder for the fire. I wasn't going to sit up here and let the enemy just randomly and willingly take my children from me. Y'all understand? I was going to do everything in my power to make sure that these children was raised correctly and that these children had a decent shot at life, learning the principles, the tenets, the characteristics, the qualities that it takes to survive in this place, to thrive in this place, and to be benefactors, be good people for the society that they experience within. Okay? So this isn't no joke. This ain't no propaganda coming from me. I'm just seeing what I'm seeing. And this the other thing about that. When you don't raise your children the right way, guess what happens? Your children ain't being raised the right way. But for the person who is raising their children the right way, then it's gonna be a clash. It's gonna be a clash. You're gonna have one group of children raised the right way getting attacked and mistreated by children who not being raised the right way. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't benefit nobody. It doesn't benefit nobody. And we have to go back to that old school butt whooping, that hot pepper chili booty whooping, what we used to call it. We have to go back to them whoopings. We have to go back to that leather belt getting took off and spanking these children. Now, what does that mean? There's a metaphor behind that. Because believe it or not, in this generation, I don't like to whoop my children. Okay? You know what I do like to do? I like to correct them firmly and sternly, and I like to be present in their lives. Okay? When my children cut up, it's very, very, very rare that I have to physically harm them or whoop them like how I was whooped because I'm constantly tending to their mentalities. I'm constantly paying attention to what it is they're actually doing. I'm paying attention to my tutelage in their life and my presence in their life. And I speak with them, I talk with them. Man, I'm a tall brother, but when it's time for me to discipline my children, I'm sitting down and I get on their level. There's been many times where I will go to my knees and I will speak with them so I can talk to them eye to eye. They know I'm bigger than them. They know I'm taller than them. They know I'm stronger than them. So if I'm calling myself a man, what am I doing harming them physically when I know I could hurt them physically based off my stature alone? Instead, I'd rather make them critically think. I'd rather speak life to them and be so disappointed in my speech with them, not having to cuss at them, but so disappointed in my speech for anything that they do that they actually feel bad and they get whooped with words. See, the rod isn't just a physical item of correction, okay? The rod isn't just a stick that we use to whoop our children with. The rod is words. The rod is energy. The rod is attention. The rod is persevering through the lessons that you have to teach your children and not giving up on them. When they see a parent giving up on them, it's easy for them to have an excuse not to do the things that they're supposed to do because they feel like they can give up on themselves. If they look just like you and you gave up on them, why should they keep on going and listen to you, first of all? And why should they not give up on things that you asking them to do if those things should be difficult, just like raising a child is difficult? Okay? Listen, y'all. We in a time right now where you want to be held accountable for you raising your children because you want them to receive that salvation. You want your children to be the elect of the Most High. You want your children to stand on that last day and know that, yes, there might have been some things that I did that wasn't so good, but I want to stand in front of the Most High and in my truth, I want to be accountable for those things and knowing that I repented of those things, knowing that I was wiped clean of those things, knowing that I have a shot. But if you teaching your children how to run and hide and sweep things under the rug, guess what's going to happen when they become adults? They're going to think they could get away with anything, not realizing that the Most High is within them, watching everything that they do through the windows of their soul. I hope y'all hear me. I hope y'all hear me. I truly do. I truly do. Stop trying to be Stop trying to be friends to your children. Now, when I say a statement like that, of course I'm not saying don't be a friend to your child. Okay? Please love your children as you love yourself. Okay? Treat your children kindly. Laugh with your children. Smile with your children. Go outside and play with your children. Take them places. Take them places. Ashe, Zumba pros. Take them places. Be loving to them. But when it's time for correction, you must be able to mentally separate your place in their life. You must be able to turn that friendship off and realize that being a parental friend is much more than being a peer-like friend. Okay? The brain will rewrite itself, its synapses. And when you think too long that you is one type of way, you will begin to believe that as well. All right? And when you begin to believe that you are a peer-like friend to your child, when it's time for parental correction, you will stand back and not allow that correction to come forth through you. And you're the only one responsible for that. Okay? You're the one who's responsible for that. It's up to you to correct these children, not your mama, not your daddy. I didn't see people say, hey, I'm gonna go take you to grandma's house. Nana gonna whoop you. Hey, I'm gonna take you to Papa's house. Papa gonna wear that butt out. What you mean, Nana and Papa are gonna wear that butt out? Where's you, Daddy? Where's you, Mama? Why do you gotta take your children to go see Nana and Papa to get disciplined? Nana and Papa already did their job. Nana and Papa was already there to raise you, supposedly. So you were supposed to have done everything that you were supposed to do to be an accountable young adult, an accountable adult. Now it's up to you. The reason you taking them to Nana and Papa house is because you don't want the stain of that punishment on your hand. You don't want to do the correcting. So you taking them to Nana and Papa house so you can still be cool with your little baby. In the meantime, your baby that got to live with you ain't even tripping off you and your discipline no more, thinking they could get away with everything under the sun. Hiding and lying to you, hiding what they doing from you, telling you one thing when they doing another thing. And you only catching what you catching, and then you gonna take them to Nana and Papa house to get a whooping. And Nana and Papa getting old, so the whooping they give them, it ain't even stinging their butt no more. They ain't there laughing, trying to hold in their chucker, laughing and stuff. Every time that belt whack, or every time Nana gotta sit them down and talk to them, or Papa put them to the side to the garage, talking about, son, sit down, let me talk to you. Y'all know I'm talking the truth. So we have to do better. Time is shortening. Do y'all feel it? I feel it every day. Time is shortening, y'all. So look, I done said my piece on this subject. I hope y'all got the message. If y'all need me to touch on this subject again and put out some more, some more tip tricks on how I do my thing, I don't mind doing that. I told y'all, I speak with them. The first thing that matter the most is I'm present with them in their life. That's the very first thing that matter most. I'm present every single day. Every day. Every day. And that's something that you got to do. You got to be present. And you got to want to learn these children. Every child you produce is not going to be the same as the last one that you brought into this world. Every child has a certain energy frequency signature on him or her, and every child is a different aspect of your bloodline coming through this planet, coming through to this plane. You mustn't treat your children as a box cutter, cookie cutter type situation. I said box cutter, cookie cutter type situation. You got to treat them as individuals, and you have to deal with them as individuals. Okay? You really have to. You have to learn their birth chart. You have to learn what it is that makes them them. If your son or daughter is a Virgo, well, you have to learn what Virgos do. You have to learn how Virgos think. If your son or daughter is a Taurus, you have to learn what Tauruses do. You have to learn that. If your son or daughter is a Libra, you have to learn what Libras do, how Libras think. And you have to begin to learn not only yourself and how you think, but you have to learn how to connect with the individuals who you was responsible for bringing into this world. When you in the garden, you cropping, and you planting zucchini, and you planting carrots, and you planting greens, and you planting onions, each one of those items of vegetable life have a different type of attention that needs to be put onto it. You don't grow onions and carrots the same. They take different levels of water. You don't grow rutabaga and turnips the same. Well, you kind of do, but they still take different levels of water, take a different level of attention. Are y'all hearing me? You don't grow corn the same way you do sweet potatoes, but you want a full and ripe harvest. And in this case, the full and ripe harvest is seeing your child into maturity to where they can be fruitful. Okay? You got the tree, and then you got the fruit. All right? We got a lot of crooked trees growing up right now that when they produce fruit, the fruit is low hanging. The fruit ain't hanging high no more. The fruit ain't heavy no more. The fruit ain't vibrant and tastes good no more and sweet. The fruit is sour, nasty, horrible, unbecoming of our people. It's very saddening. And I see the repercussions of these actions every single day. Like I told you, I think this video is inspired by what's going on in my city right now. My city is tripping right now, geeking right now, totally ridiculous right now. And we have a lost generation that is being culled and removed from this place. Do y'all hear me? I hope y'all hear me. It's very sad. It's very sad. It's very sad. My heart is breaking daily because there's only so much that each and every one of us can do. But when it comes to society and the ills in our community, what we can do must start within the four walls of our house, under our roof. When you send your babies out into society, they should be the best representatives of you and your tutelage. It's very sad that that's going away, that we're not experiencing that no more. It's like it's almost rare. And of course, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving in. Y'all know I was born a champion. I was made to win, just like y'all. I'm not changing unless it's changing for even better. I'm not changing for the worse. I tell you that. Well, look, it's your bro True Jew tapping in with y'all. The only way I know how raw, really uncut. You know I love you to life. I love you to life. Do y'all hear me? And when you love somebody to life, that means you don't love them to death. That means you don't just sit back and watch them do all the destructive things that they do in their life to the point where they dead and die. No, you love somebody to life. That means as a mama and a papa, you willing to correct the individuals who you brought into this earth because you love them that much. They friends not gonna love them the way that you love them. So now you mean to tell me you want to be on the same level as a friend who don't love them, who don't want to correct them, who don't want to take time to deal with them in patience and love and light and truth? Oh yeah, I don't know. I'm pressing somebody buttons right now. I'm pressing somebody buttons right now. But the truth don't care who buttons it press. The truth don't care. The truth job is to wake you up and to remind you of who you is so that you can do the things that you're supposed to do. That's what the truth job is. When you love somebody to life, you willing to stand in there and correct them regardless of how they looking at you and feel about you. I tell mine straight up like this. You got a problem with what I'm saying. First of all, you better fix your face. Looking at me like you crazy. That's the first thing. You better fix your face looking at me like you crazy little boy. I'm your daddy. You not mine. I'll let them know. I'll whip them straight up with my words. Y'all hear me? I don't have to sit up there and whoop them physically. Now, if it's something like I said, where it's to the point where they done got physical with each other so much to the point where they actually hurting one another, and that hurt is causing pain to another, and the other one that did the hurting ain't feeling that pain, well, then I got to make an executive decision at that point if I'm gonna wear their butt out, or if I'm gonna take something from them, or if I'm gonna do something else like that to punish them. Give them a lot of push-ups, sit-ups, till they start burning in their body, whatever they got to do to get punishment for what they did. If I cannot have to put my hands on them and whoop them, then that's what I'm gonna do. Now, if it come down to me having to whoop them physically, well then, hey, they got the brother for the job for that too. Y'all hear me? But it's my job to figure out as many different modes to connect with these people as possible before that last option is taken. Y'all hear me? So that's real talk. Because look, if they doing something that they not supposed to do so much to the point where you got to extend that last option to them, well then you better do it. Because if you don't and they get into the groove of thinking that they could get away with those sorts of things, the police don't care. The police got pistols and rifles just for that. And you know you're not finna use no pistol and rifle on your child. But the police don't care about that. Y'all hear me? And this ain't about scared of being scared of no police. This just about saying when it's time for them to do their job, you think they finna hesitate to do their job if your child is out here not doing what they were supposed to do? Because you didn't raise them right? It's about saving lives and preventing stupidity from going forward into this world, y'all. Look, like I said, it's your brother True Jew. Tapping in with y'all the only way I know how, raw, real, and uncut. This for the parents today. This for the mamas and the papas today. If you was struggling with what I'm saying, if you was kind of on the fence about what I'm saying, I hope this video woke your game up. Okay? Look, I love you to life always. This tough love. This is what you call tough love. It's tough love. Okay? But I love you to life. Most of mama, papa will, and I'll be back with another one. But until then, y'all be smooth. Get ready for that Shabbat. All right? Peace.